Yo, 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 what's up, gentlemen? Welcome to, and gentlewomen who are joining us. It's Wednesday, March 4th, a little after 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We got Jesse Berger, Josh Berger, Caleb's James Delisle, and I am Jeremy Berger. What's up, boys?
What's happening?
Oh, it's just another day, another dollar. I guess X is having some experiencing issues with live streaming. So give me a second while I deal with that and get this thing shared far and wide.
All right.
Want to jump into
Wow, crypto just on an absolute fucking pump. I guess they love killing world leaders.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it works. It's there.
Yeah, I guess that's good news for the fucking world, dude.
Bad news for the world, good news for crypto, right?
And bad news for people shorting.
Yeah.
I think the crypto market has decided that Trump's going to have to print so much money to get himself out of this that it's just all in.
Yeah. Drive it to zero.
Caleb. Yeah, that's a good point. That could definitely be it.
Because it's always been that when the US dollar tanks, crypto moons. Right?
Yeah. It's
I mean, crypto moons on the thought that the US dollar is going to tank. It's kind of a before it actually happens. But I think that the trade is that Fed, they're going to call the Fed and tell them they got to do QE in order to pay for reindustrializing, building missiles or whatever they're going to try to do.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw that that Iran just called for negotiations to end the war.
Yeah.
So probably going to be over soon.
Ish. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they want to take out before they finish up their operation out there. So, but nevertheless, apparently that's good for crypto. Although I think we'll see how far this pump goes. I was listening to Carl the Moon show this morning, and they were saying it could go up all the way to 80 and top out max 88, but also it could just reverse anywhere in the next few $1,000s on towards the upside. So
this is a great time to open a short, if you were asking.
Always a good time when you see a green candle to open a short in this market. How much leverage you put on that short, that's on you.
Dude, but just do like a full 100x leverage.
100x leverage.
Solo in. Don't be a pussy, dude.
I think it might not be at the top for that yet, but who knows? No, always a good idea to short green candles in this very, very volatile marketplace. But yeah, look, in some other relatively good news, things are on rails towards closing this big deal. It is going to be a very, very busy next 2.5, 3 weeks, 4 weeks ish. And, really, I guess for the next couple years, now that we have an entirely new endeavor that we're diving into. But finally, everything's now in that full accelerated manner. And we have some big milestones coming up next week, more on the transactional side of things. And we have to push through, get this thing to the finish line, which should be at the end of this month. Whether we'll announce at the end of the month or just complete and then kind of figure out our posture and how we put this thing out there is TBD. But we'll obviously keep everyone informed in how this thing unfolds. And
we probably won't announce at the end of the month.
But it's not like we're going to announce like the second that we sign the contract, but we'll keep everyone kind of looped in, and we're going to figure out specifically a PR strategy to start talking about it, because it's obviously going to be a significant and notable deal. Kind of interesting because it's in the backdrop, and obviously our deal is like a lot smaller by many, many magnitudes from the Warner Brothers Discovery Paramount merger that just is underway. And actually Netflix was originally buying the Warner Brothers Discovery assets for like $86 billion, and Paramount came in with like a hostile bid to appeal to the Warner Brother Discovery shareholders at 110 billion, which also included some additional assets that were not included originally in the Netflix deal. And that deal was now accepted. What's interesting about that is that Netflix had, I thought they had a $5 billion breakup fee, but maybe that was like $5 billion if it didn't get regulatory approval. And maybe there's some other factors that I wasn't aware of, but nevertheless, it looks like Netflix is going to get a $2.8 billion payment for walking away from the deal, for the deal not going through, or for basically like a breakup fee on the other side, on the Warner Brothers Discovery side, pulling out of the deal. And so Netflix stock went up, I think 10% on that news. Like,
well, it was already down because the people like got all scared that they're changing their business, they're getting into theatrical, they're doing all this stuff that's not like Netflix. So it had gone down, and I guess all that money just piled back in.
They're like, we're back. So yeah, they don't have to spend 86 billion buying, a business that's got $40 billion worth of debt. They instead just get a free 2.8B, which I don't know about you out there, but that seems like a pretty good day at work,
good for the balance sheet.
Yeah, good for the balance sheet, just free flush of cash.
Well, the crazy thing about it also is that in this new bid that Paramount put out is that they're paying they're going to pay, I forget exactly the number, but it's a multi-billion-dollar fee if it doesn't pass regulatory scrutiny. So there is a scenario where Paramount paid 2.8 billion and then pays, and I think it's like 5 billion or something. I think it's a large number, it might even be more, that they'll pay to Warner Brothers, even if it doesn't go through. So they could lose 2.6 billion plus another 5 billion and leave with nothing.
Yeah. That could be a tough shakeup. We'll have to see how it all shakes up. And there's no assurances that the deal will go through in the way it's configured today, that it'll even get through regulatory. And apparently from a regulatory standpoint, not only does it need federal regulatory approval, but it's going to need state by state regulatory approval
and global regulatory approval, because it operates in many different countries. So you could have Europe just be like, nah, that's a monopoly, and go bat it down. So their work is far from over.
But this is multiple years, at least a year and change, that's going to take for this to all go through. And it's going to create a lot of uncertainty in the entertainment business in general, and specifically around like not just distribution, because distribution is kind of just like business as usual for the most part, but in terms of anybody creating original content or funding things at the studio level, like buying something, doing a deal that they very well may not have a job in 12 months, it's just creates a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of people just end up cruising through these time periods. And so it'll be actually good for us in the sense that we'll have, a new independent entity, new shingle coming into the scene that's not going to be, impinged by all this uncertainty. We can actually do business with people and take action and, build things that may be difficult to build at the, big major studios, just because the people you're going to be talking to are like, hey, we don't really know, what our mandate is anymore. And, we could be doing something today and, 6 months down the road, we get the contract done. And then all of a sudden I don't work there anymore, change strategies or whatever. So, especially when you're merging two huge companies like that have thousands of employees, like you don't need two presidents of production. Obviously Warner Brothers needs a president of production, Paramount needs a president of production, but when you merge them together, they don't need two, so there'll be a lot of jobs that are going to just have to go away or shift. And, the consolidation period is always a little bit wonky, and that creates some interesting opportunities for us in entering into that landscape. So otherwise, some exciting things, obviously, emerging here. And then, yeah, how does it all relate to Packet? We've been talking about this a bunch, and building out like a very specific plan is not, ready yet, but I think we have a lot of really, really strong ideas on how to incorporate the Packet network, as well as incorporating the token into this kind of streaming landscape. And yeah, we're excited to work through that stuff. And I think there will be some good opportunities to kind of confer, not just with our like existing kind of core OG community, but also to expand the community and bring new voices into what we're building. I think a lot of people will find it extremely exciting. And being that Packet is on Base is kind of under this Coinbase banner, and Coinbase stablecoin is USDC. I think there's just some really exciting ways to bring Coinbase closer into what we're doing and kind of build out the profile for Packet in general. And in that way, I mean, we were saying yesterday, it's like, what's the biggest thing that we could do? It's like obviously getting Packet listed on Coinbase. It's just like a real listing, and that seems possible with this kind of shift in not just opportunity that comes from this acquisition, but the shift in like profile, like just like market awareness, user adoption. These are things that are obviously important in the crypto space in general. I think it's where cryptos struggle. It's just not a lot of adoption, not a lot of users, using these tools and services for everyday purposes. Like obviously crypto folks are doing things within the crypto space, but how do you get that crossover from mass market? Mm-hmm. And I think some of the strategies that we're imagining here, I think are going to align really nicely. And yeah, it will be a cool kind of inflection point for the project to kind of level up.
And to just have something to market, it's like you're kind of marketing into a vacuum, but if you have channels and streaming and celebrities and influencers and all this stuff kind of built out into this ecosystem, I think where, we've always struggled is that, we built it from the ground up, and you're building all this stuff and you're like, hey, everybody, we built something, come over here. And this gives us an opportunity to take where the people are and bring something that we built to the party. And now that becomes like the infrastructure that supports where the people already are.
Yeah.
That is what gets me excited, because, marketing and trying to rise above the noise and trying to, be different and is hard. It's really hard. So when you can kind of step into something that has brand recognition, has usership, has excitement, has legacy, and then you can bring all this technology over there to just amplify what is happening and create efficiencies within that ecosystem. Now you have a real product market fit and the opportunity to expand on a global level.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I like that. I like what you're saying, where it's like, instead of just trying to get everyone to come over, into the Packet sphere, is actually bringing Packet over into something that's already big and well known. And that way you don't have to like force a shift in people's behaviors, but it's like something already recognizable, and now you're attaching it to it. The other thing that's been, I actually think that the crypto world is doing a pretty bad job, and maybe that's purposeful, on amplifying excitement around prediction markets. Like you would think, I mean, obviously Bitcoin and Ethereum are the biggest things in crypto for sure. And then you got Solana, you got XRP, huge. But the prediction markets is like the number one utility that's truly crossing over into the mainstream, where people that are not crypto, centric people are kind of getting into predictions. And being that the predictions, I guess it has a flair of gambling to it. And we know there's a lot of crossover in the gambling kind of world. But the fact that people are wagering on real life events, news, who's going to win the Academy Awards, it's like, how many times is JD Vance going to clap his hands at the, State of the Union? It's like random stuff like that. I was actually literally watching a guy betting on how many cars are going to go through an intersection on a green light.
Yeah.
And he's literally watching like traffic cams and wagering on how many cars, like it'll be like, 12 to 14 cars are going to go through this intersection on this green light. He's putting like 100 racks on that. But this is the type of stuff that becomes possible, that's not just, we know that sports betting is a big thing. We know that casino stuff is a big thing. But wagering on real life events and the fact that it originated with Polymarket, and now you're seeing crypto.com. I haven't seen if Binance is getting into prediction markets, but I'm assuming every single exchange is looking over at prediction markets. And we know that all the sports books for sure are looking at prediction markets. We've been talking about incorporating prediction markets into just film and TV programming. And there's a lot of opportunities around that in particular. And just kind of, you're already seeing a little bit, like if you watched the Golden Globes last month or in January, you would have seen like they have prediction markets built in to, who's going to win this category, that category. So that's already getting built into the stream where people are like wagering and predicting stuff that's happening on screen and making money while you're watching Golden Globes. And I think that's going to go to the next level. And so we're excited from a streaming platform standpoint, how we can incorporate prediction markets, into everyday stuff like influencer programming, and obviously it is a natural fit for sports. But we think that's a cool bridge between, crypto ecosystem, digital wallets, and then like, more traditional programming that people are familiar with today.
Yeah, it's super exciting, especially I'm creating the deck right now about some ideas on how to integrate that into channels. And yeah, there's just unlimited opportunity and engagement. And I'm sure the parents of children aren't going to be too happy about it, but it's pretty cool.
And I also think that like, setting up some kind of like, incentive where somebody puts $10 in, they get a $15 bonus or something like that. And then, you're plussed up to $25. Now you're more inclined to, participate more. I know that we were messing around with, what was it? Called, is it Kalshi?
Kalshi,
and man, it's like fun. I put $10 in and then they give you $25 and then you can bet on anything. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then you lose more than you win, but some of the wins, like you could put $1 to win like $6, and it's like how many times like you put $1 in, to nothing all the time. So it's like,
it's just fun. It's just fun. It's just like
having it. If it could be built into your, if it could be built into your TV, and then you can use like your packet. That's like.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is like, just how do you incorporate a wallet? And we've been saying this seriously. This was something we talked about back in like 2019, like pre-packet launch. We were talking about how you can incorporate a digital wallet into your TV.
Yeah.
And obviously Roku, Apple TV, they have you putting your credit card in. That's there. And so you can buy movies, even Amazon, you can buy movies naturally within your browsing experience, but you don't have a digital wallet necessarily. And it's mostly just for like paying for subscriptions and then like digital goods. But really the digital goods are only subscriptions and maybe buying like a movie or renting a movie or something like that. But I think it's so easy to expand beyond that. Like there's no reason that we can't expand beyond that. The other thing that I was talking to Caleb about earlier is voting. And it's really interesting that you're not seeing, like, so think about like The Voice, right? Where they would have these like competitions and people would text and it would be like, oh, you know, you're gonna get charged for doing this text. So you send a text to place your vote on who should win, and it costs you like $2, $3 or something like that to vote. People were all into that, and they would get millions of votes. They were making millions of dollars on that type of stuff. I'm surprised that you don't see that really happening anymore. It's such an easy, natural fit for that to happen and for that to be a crypto rail. And so, yeah, I think that incorporating that kind of stuff into game shows through connected TV, and then obviously things that can happen within the prediction markets, again, using a digital wallet within your connected TV. And broadcast can't do this. Cable can't do this at all. And I think that's where connected TV kind of just is a level up on what's possible for engaging people, not just in those examples that I gave, but also you can engage with ads. And I think there's something really exciting about that, being able to either even purchase digital goods, be like, oh, cool, that hat is cool. Let me just buy that right here, you know? So,
but also
really exciting things like that.
A lot, you know, the texting, the reason why the texting, I mean, that still happens, but most carriers are unlimited text, you know? So it's rare.
No. The text is free, obviously, to send the text, but I'm saying too, they have a charge coming from, like, The Voice would hit you with a charge for participating. It was weird. They made money on it.
Huh.
It was back in the day. It was also, you could like call up and it had like phone charges for like dialing that number. That's like a thing, like dialing, 1-900 number or whatever. So no, I'm just saying, like, these are things that people do. We've seen it a little bit with like DAOs, where you would have to like put some money in to participate in the DAO. Mm-hmm. And you have to like either stake something, or maybe a little bit is burned, or maybe a little bit goes into, you have to pay into a treasury or something. There's been a lot of examples of that, but they're just kind of like, it's a little amorphous, like it lacks a significant anchor to it. And like a lot of the stuff kind of fizzled out. It's kind of like just showing that there is a interest from people to get involved with those types of things, but like you need some long-term connectivity to it. And I think that's where, things like sports succeed, is because it's long-term. Like if you're a sports fan, like that's a lifelong commitment to an extent, unless you switch your favorite team or whatever. But, you're like, hey, season after season, you're following these teams, these athletes, these leagues, whatever. It's a lifelong, commitment. It's like, oh, I love, Major League Baseball. I love NFL. Like, you're constantly investing. You're buying merchandise. You're going to games. You're at least investing a couple hours watching it on your TV. And when you're watching it on TV, you're being subjected to advertising, either in the commercials, or if there are no commercials, in the stadium. They have banners and advertising in the stadium. You're seeing those logos and stuff while you're watching. Even if you're not registering it, it's there. It's in front of your eyeballs. So this is how a lot of this kind of monetization is happening, very, very layered. And so where does that put a platform that we're talking about? Well, all of a sudden we're doing all those same things. We can naturally market within the programming. We can incorporate brands. We can incorporate prediction markets. We can distribute content. We can reach huge audiences, both domestic and internationally. And that's just a way bigger platform than anything that we've ever had before. And being that it already was a huge platform with millions and millions of users, it puts us in a great place to kind of, again, level up the whole entire project. But we're still, in a lot of ways, building from zero. Like, in a lot of ways, it's like we're just starting over, with pre-existing infrastructure. And, our community is obviously very small, and the token price market cap has gone down dramatically, and crypto's been in the doghouse, other than, you know, Bitcoin. For the most part, it's done a good job holding itself. And even, I mean, not a bad day, even, I guess, for packet on a proxy basis to Ethereum, with Ethereum up over 2150 today. So
yeah.
Well, lots of exciting stuff on the horizon. I mean, the possibilities are endless. It's just about staying tuned.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Well, this is the month. This is the month. Like, we've been talking about it for 4 freaking months now, 5 months, whatever. Yeah. It's been going on for way too long, but this this deal's finally at the finish line. And this will be the month. This will be the month.
All right. Well, let us get back to work and go close this mofo.
Yeah.
All right,
sure.
boys.
Thanks for everyone who popped in.
Everybody.
And, you know, we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Sounds good.